Some people are just not satisfied with the way they look, and they go through drastic transformations to change their look. We're not talking about a simple nose job here. We're talking extreme makeover, and in some cases, that's putting it mildly. Have you ever heard of Rico, the real-life orc? What about Eric Sprague, the Lizardman? If you want to see some insane body modifications, you can't miss this as we count down 15 unbelievable extreme body mods.
It's going to be a conversation maker. I will be able to tell people what it is and be unique.
Number 15. Red Skull Venezuela. To resemble Marvel's Red Skull, a tattoo artist had his nose chopped off and horns grafted to his head. Henry Rodriguez, a tattoo artist from Galicia, had 15 excruciating surgeries to transform himself into the villainous Marvel villain, including a partial nose amputation. Rodriguez has no qualms about his augmentations, and his 7-year-old kid continues to refer to him as Super Daddy. In 2012, the 34-year-old decided to make a total shift in his life by transforming his appearance to resemble the first Captain America supervillain. Back in 2011, he stated he went to a specialist to figure out what bodily alterations he'd need. He desired to do something different. The first significant notion was a skull, and when his doctor showed him the sketches, he immediately recognized Red Skull. It had been a live project he'd been thinking about and planned for a long time. The initial stage was to have his eyes blacked, and Rodriguez has now endured 15 procedures, totaling roughly £27,255. His nose and earlobes were amputated, and he received silicone implants in his forehead, cheeks, and brows. He also added a few more body transformations to differentiate himself from the iconic Red Skull image and gave his new character more personality. He admits that all the procedures were unpleasant, but claims that the discomfort is a necessary part of pursuing his dream. It is a passion for him. It is like running. There's no progress without pain. It's all part of the appeal. Rodriguez went through his alterations in secret from his family. Despite his outward appearance, Rodriguez claims that his days are rather routine and that his life at the tattoo business complements his looks. Number 14. Paul Lawrence, the Enigma. The Enigma, whose real name is Paul Lawrence, is a sideshow performer, actor, and singer from the United States who has had several body alterations, including horn implants, ear contouring, many body piercings, and a full-body jigsaw puzzle tattoo. His tattooing career started in 1992 when he was tattooed by Katsun, the Tiger Lady, whom he later married and divorced. To date, Enigma has had over 200 tattoo artists work on him, with up to 23 tattoos in progress at any given time. At number 13, Charlotte Guttenberg and Chuck HELMKE. Charles Chuck HELMKE and Charlotte Guttenberg each have a Guinness World Record for being the most tattooed senior citizens of their gender, albeit they technically hold them jointly. They're also in a relationship, making for one of the most unusual and colourful pairings you'll ever see. Guttenberg, 67, has tattoos covering 91.5% of her body and exhibits her body art in tattoo displays and competitions. She received her first tattoo at the age of 57 after the death of her first husband, who was always against women getting tattoos. HELMKE, 75, is her partner on these adventures, whom she met while having a very large and painful tattoo on her thigh. Chuck was asked whether he was working when she wandered into the tattoo studio late one night. They informed Chuck that they had a lady who wanted a full garter tattoo and asked if he could just talk to her and distract her. So he held her hand for 2 hours and babbled. HELMKE, a retired defense trainer, self-described yogi, and author, got his first tattoo in 1959 while serving in the United States Army. He took a vacation from tattooing until 2000, after having a few more tattoos in 1960. But since then, he's been making up for lost time, covering 93.75% of his body. Number 12. KALAVELO KAIVI. KALAVELO KAIVI holds the world record for the largest flesh tunnel, measuring 4.13 inches, as measured on the 14th of April 2014 at the Hilo Natural Health Clinic in Hawaii. For those unfamiliar with a flesh tunnel, it is a ring that is put into the earlobe and extends out the earlobe. While larger flesh tunnels have been reported, tattoo and body mod artist KALAVELO has the largest totally verified flesh tunnels. They're roughly the size of a teacup and big enough for a clenched hand to pass through. Kala has tattoos, piercings, subdermal horns, and a split tongue in addition to the flesh tunnels. I suppose some people enjoy torturing their bodies for amusement. Number 11. Freak Lizardman. Being a freak entails embracing one's differences, and Eric Sprague is proud of his. He transformed himself into a green-scaled, fork-tongued lizard man about 20 years ago. Sprague's physical alterations took years and included a full-body tattoo of green scales, a medically split tongue, filed teeth, and subdermal implants in his brows, as well as over 700 hours of tattooing. But since his change, he's made a living off his reptilian skin, performing sideshow tricks like suspending weights from his body piercings, sword swallowing, and, why not, shoving a gigantic corkscrew through his head. There's no simple explanation for why he did it. He just wanted to, although he understands why people find it difficult to comprehend doing anything like this. But if it doesn't harm anyone else, he argues, respect the decision. I most certainly agree. Number 10. Joe MIGGLER, flesh tunnels. Joe MIGGLER, who was born in Germany, has the most stretch piercings in the world and holds the Guinness World Record for the most flesh tunnels on a face. He has expanders in his flesh holes all over his face, including his nose and lips, but the largest two are in each of his cheeks and measure a frightening 34mm so far. He intends to raise them to 40mm. The 22-year-old is proud of his individuality, admitting that body modification has become a bit of an addiction for him since he began at the age of 13 with a regular meaty earlobe. Joel claims that after his highly trained professional body mod artist makes a new or wider tunnel, he goes through a week of misery. But as soon as it heals, he starts planning the next one. In the future, he would like to have an eyeball implant. I suppose everybody has a hobby, and Joel's is changing his physique. Number 9. Lucy LUCKAYANKO. Lucy LUCKAYANKO was in a New York City nightclub when a man approached her and said her eye was sparkly. She said she had platinum in her eye at that point. When LUCKAYANKO glances up, the platinum heart glimmers from the corner of her right eye, allowing the light to catch it away from the shade of her long lashes. The eye jewelry was surgically installed for $3,000 by Dr. Emil Chin. Her procedure was the first of its kind in New York, and 4 other people have reached out to Chin about getting eye jewelry as well. Chin revealed he'd been hunting for a patient to get the first eyesight eye jewelry for a number of years after urging LUCKAYANKO to glance up to show off the tiny silver heart that practically blends into the white of her eye. According to him, LUCKAYANKO was ideal. He's had a few Russian girlfriends and claims, matter-of-factly, that they would gladly not eat to be able to afford designer gowns. Chin stated that he was looking for someone pretty enough to pique the media's curiosity. He stated that he planned to demonstrate the safety of the eye jewelry operation on a celebrity on live television. The American Academy of Ophthalmology disagrees, advising customers to avoid the procedure because it is not approved by the FDA despite its popularity in Europe. Chin believes the surgery is relatively safe based on his prior expertise. The eye jewelry appeals to LUCKAYANKO since it is elegant and only visible to those she wishes to be close to. Since a post-op photo of LUCKAYANKO's eyeball went viral and commentators began condemning her for obtaining the implant, it hasn't been all that wonderful for her. LUCKAYANKO has been in the United States for 5 years and aspires to be a well-known graphic designer. Number 8. ROLF BUCHHOLZ. A German guy has broken the Guinness World Record for the most body alterations. ROLF BUCHHOLZ has over 516 bodily changes under his belt, and he claims he isn't done yet. Rolf works in information technology for a German telecommunications corporation, according to Guinness World Records. He began his path of body modification when he was 40 years old, when he got his first tattoo and piercing. With multiple piercings over his lips, eyebrows, nose, and even 2 little horns on his forehead, he has become virtually unrecognizable in the more than 20 years since. He believes that only the outside of his body is changed because of the changes. They haven't changed who he is as a person. 453 piercings, tattoos, and subdermal implants are amongst Rolf's changes. Guinness Book of World Records named him as the man with the most body piercings in 2010. He became well known after being turned away from the Dubai airport in 2014, where he arrived for a hotel presentation. According to a spokeswoman from the hotel where Rolf BUCHHOLZ was due to appear, management had failed despite all efforts to obtain permission for him to enter. Rolf BUCHHOLZ had 2 horns put into his forehead after 5 years and various adjustments. Guinness World Records recently featured his films on their social media channels, bringing him back to prominence. Number 7. CIGNO. Lena L., also known as CIGNO, is a tattoo model and artist based in San Francisco, California. She previously worked full-time in corporate technology. She spent over $50,000 on tattoos, piercings, breast implants, and even ear surgery, completely changing her appearance from the girl next door to formidable tattoo model. Lena has now stated that she has had 3 additional radical body alterations, completing her makeover into a city cyborg look. For her forehead and breast, she received 3D art implants. Her tongue was split and her ears made pointy. Lena noted that the operation took around an hour and a half and was not inexpensive, although she confesses that she has previously spent significantly more on body alterations, tattoos, and plastic surgery. She wasn't satisfied with herself, so she decided she didn't have to accept anything if it didn't add to her total pleasure. According to her, there are various methods to transform oneself, and this is one of them. Technology, medical advancements, and the art of body modification have made it possible for her to pursue her change, which may appear excessive to some. She claims that in her head, a switch flipped, causing her to begin her change. The model began eating well and exercising frequently, which resulted in her losing over 56 pounds, and she began her body alteration process shortly after. CIGNO got her first tattoo in 2010, and she now has more than 100 on her body, including her head and face. Number 6. CHIARA. Facial piercings and tattooed eyeballs. CHIARA had her first piercing when she was 11 years old. Body alteration has become a way of life for the attractive Italian after 6 years and 40 procedures. This fixation is less about gaining attention from others and more about being loyal to herself and who she truly is on the inside. CHIARA has 20 facial piercings, 2 brandings, 12 scarifications, and 6 subdermal implants now. She also has had her eyeballs tattooed and her labia extended in case that wasn't enough. She wouldn't keep doing this if she didn't feel at ease with herself. All of this comes naturally to her, and she has no regrets. The 19-year-old claims that she or her boyfriend Michelle, who tattooed her eyes, did most of her piercings. It was Michelle's first time doing the treatment, which carries a significant level of risk for even the most experienced artist. Fortunately for CHIARA, everything went ahead without a hitch, and the risk paid off. Michelle has assisted with more than just piercings and eye tattoos. His favorite modification is the one that the pair has been working on for a while, extending her labia minora and implanting implants into her labia majora. CHIARA says she now walks with a limp because of the 2 treatments, but she's generally pleased with the results. Her desire for attention or to be noticed at any cost is not driving her to change. It's a personal requirement. She does everything for herself. CHIARA isn't slowing down. She's prepared to get titanium horns in her forehead and implants in her scalp. Number 5. Ethan Bramble. At the age of 11, Ethan Bramble began changing his body, beginning with lengthening his earlobes. He's since covered himself in ink from head to toe, slashed the tips of his ears, and split his tongue in half. Bramble chose to cover up all his ink in the latest episode of the YouTube transformation series with the help of a makeup artist named Suki to surprise his partner Meg. Meg noted in an interview for the series that she couldn't imagine Bramble without tattoos because she has never met him without them. When asked why he got so many tattoos, Bramble explained that he wants to stand out from the crowd. He also stated that while many people believe his tattoos have a deeper meaning, this is not the case, because at the end of the day he does this to his body because he thinks it's cool. The entire procedure took 2.5 hours, and the results were incredible. It was time for Bramble's big unveiling after Suki finished covering up his tattoos. Bramble took one glance at himself in the mirror before showing Meg his metamorphosis and was completely taken aback. Bramble couldn't help but laugh after first seeing himself, exclaiming he felt virtually naked. Meg's immediate reaction upon seeing Bramble was to give him a kiss and an embrace. She admitted she preferred him with his tattoos once reality sank in. Even though Bramble has previously stated he wished he was tattoo-free to avoid judging stares at fine dining establishments, he ultimately enjoys his totally tattooed appearance. Number 4. Maria Jose Cristerna. Maria Jose Cristerna Mendez is a Mexican lawyer, businesswoman, activist, and tattoo artist known professionally as the Vampire Woman, or as she prefers, the Jaguar Woman. She's well known for her significant bodily changes, which she began as a form of domestic violence protest. She is the most tattooed woman in the world, with 96% of her body covered in tattoos, according to Guinness World Records, and is one of the most well-known figures in the world of tattoo art. The palms of her hands, which are a difficult place to tattoo, make up the remaining 4%. A split tongue, subdermal implants, piercings, ear expansions, eye tattoos, scarification, and dental implants are among her other bodily changes. She routinely attends international tattoo and body modification festivals and conventions. She's also been on a variety of television shows, including the National Geographic Channel's Taboo, as well as events involving body suspension. In one of its museums, Ripley's Believe It or Not has erected a wax figure of Cristerna. Number 3. Mariya Spalek. While some people have praised Mariya Spalek's striking appearance, others have criticized it. Surprisingly, the Twitch streamer claims that her tattoos, tattooed eyeballs, and split tongue have led to her being spat upon in the street. She was recalling an incident in Berlin, Germany, where 2 people spat at her. People who have insulted the 30-year-old have also approached her. Someone in front of her asked if she was unaware of her own unattractiveness. While some people make fun of Mariya when she's out in public, others are enamored with her appearance. They frequently approach her and tell her that she appears insane and that she deserves their respect for it. Mariya gets paranoid at times because of the many reactions to her looks. Her appearance is surely one that people want to have a glance at. It causes others to congregate around her. Her tattoos give her greater confidence in one aspect, but she's also a little bit shy because she has no idea why others are staring at her. It's possible they think she's cute, or that she's a freak, or that they're terrified of her, or that they're just inquisitive. It makes her feel a little insecure. Even though the German influencer might get hung up on people's comments, she refuses to allow criticism to stop her from pursuing her passion for tattoos. If she notices an area of her body that she feels she needs to change, she simply changes it. Number 2. Amber Luke. Amber Luke hails from New South Wales, Australia, and describes herself as a blue-eyed dragon. She has spent more than $30,000 on extreme operations and is now known as the blue-eyed white dragon by her pals. Amber, who has dyed her hair blue, claims that a 40-minute surgery to turn her eyes into a dragon blue was like rubbing glass shards into her eye and left her blind for 3 weeks. The Instagram celebrity has over 145,000 followers and is sponsored by several companies. Amber has approximately 600 tattoos and even has a set of custom-made fangs that she wears inside her mouth. A tongue split, breast augmentation, cheek and lip fillers, pointed implants in her ears, and a Brazilian butt lift cost the 26-year-old an additional $70,000. Her net worth is believed to be $150,000. Amber began having bodily difficulties when she was 14 years old after being diagnosed with depression. She has stated that she developed a tattoo addiction at the age of 16, and she has no regrets. She had no idea who she was or what she wanted out of life, but she now has the courage to dress and act as she pleases. She is unconcerned about how she will appear when she grows older. She believes that if she's not causing harm to others, She's doing what she wants to do, and if it makes her happy in the morning, then so be it. Number 1. Rico Sosa, real-life orc. A tattoo addict has described how he spent years turning himself into a real-life Lord of the Rings orc. Rico Ledesma, 41, who lives in Brazil, and his wife, Krishna Insomnia, 25, and their daughter has spent years perfecting his look, which includes false fang teeth that he acknowledges makes chewing difficult. Rico has 85% of his body covered in tattoos, as well as 8 subdermal piercings, a tongue split, and tattooed eyeballs. He began to alter his appearance 7 years ago to stand out, but the effort to transform him into an orc is only a year old. Even though he has problems eating and drinking, he had 6 fake teeth implanted in 2020 and plans to have 2 larger ones implanted in the near future. The new orc modification project included the addition of 2 more tusks, body paint that is almost entirely black with a few grey areas, as well as burns and changes. He now has tattoos covering 85% of his body. The fangs were the finishing touch to the orc project, and they were the result of a lot of research and restless nights. Rico had his teeth cleaned by a dentist who embraced the initiative, and the two worked out a way to make it work. Rico said she did an excellent job, and she had already made plans for the next trip. Rico went under the knife to enlarge his nasal septum to improve the orc's appearance. He also had a black tattoo to go with his orc look, which he describes as the most time-consuming and painful component of his transition. The scarification of his calf with hot irons, he claims, is the worst modification he's ever had. Partial healing took 4 months, but it was one of the things that he's most proud of. While the changes would normally cost thousands of dollars, Rico has spent very little because his wife did practically all the work. On the internet, he encountered body piercing expert Krishna, who also goes by the moniker Bat. Rico's family and friends, including his daughter, adore his new look, and the pair is expecting their second child together. She adores him and cheers him on in all his changes. He will be proud of her if she decides to adjust her appearance in the not-too-distant future. Rico's new look has earned him the moniker of trans species, and he's even caught the interest of Michelle Rilak, the director behind The Snow White and the Intruder. He claims he's getting ready to make his film debut. He can't reveal much about the film, but he can say it will be original and playful, and it will be unlike anything else in the cinema. I have no problem with people wanting to modify their bodies this way, as long as they're not hurting anyone else in the process. However, it's not my cup of tea. Which one was your favourite? Why don't you let us know in the comments below? Well, that's our countdown of 15 unbelievable extreme body mods. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be part of the fun. Click on the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. That's it for now.